When one is in Egypt, one should delve deeply into her treasures. Oh, dear me. I'm so sorry. The newly facelifted 2020 MG ZS. It's just had a comprehensive restyle. But is it any good? Should you care? Well, let's find out, shall we? MG, let's go.
Here we are with anchors tying us to what we'll call home, even if the sight of it has not yet touched our eyes. And here we are and we're together, even if we are apart. And we're together when we're together, something big is happening among us.
So welcome to Dudley in the West Midlands and another episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. I do apologise if the camera quality isn't quite what it normally is because of the situation that we're in. I am driving on my own. Mr. Franks, my usual videographer and co-founder of this review series, is socially distancing somewhere else. So this is the 2020 MG ZS 1.5 exclusive manual. The car has been on sale now for less than a week actually at the time of recording, and I'm very grateful to have been offered this opportunity by the team at Summit Garage in Dudley. So thanks, Summit Garage. Thumb it. Before we get into more detail about this wonderful facelifted MG ZS, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel for more of the same, really, more Tweed Jacket reviews, no budget reviews and all kinds of other excitement. Please do like this video and leave a comment below. It really helps us to rank higher on YouTube and to be able to make these episodes more quickly. So the MG ZS, or rather the SUV type of MG ZS, there was an MG ZS in the early 2000s based on Row 45, was introduced in 2017, and I have reviewed all variants of the MG ZS so far. I've reviewed a manual one, a pre-facelift Excite model. I've reviewed an automatic one, which is a very popular video. Then I've reviewed the electric version. Now that is my most popular video in terms of the Tweed Jacket review series of all time. And so I gather that lots of you do like me filming these cars. With this new facelifted model, which came out right at the end of June 2020, only the 1.5 manual gearbox is currently available. The automatic should be arriving early 2021. There are two trim levels available: Excite and Exclusive. The slow-selling Explore trim has been dropped. I mean, who could really blame people for not wanting to buy that car? It didn't even have air conditioning. And MG have decided to just simplify their range structure, and that's absolutely fine. The only thing I would say is that rather than being about £14,000 now, the Excite variant with the 1.5 engine and the manual gearbox now starts at £15,500. This particular car, because it's got the Battersea Blue metallic paint, which looks brilliant by the way, and it is the exclusive model, this retails for I think £18,340. At launch, of course, there's only this 1.5 litre non-turbo engine available and a 5-speed manual gearbox. This is exactly the same engine that's been in the MG3 in this market since 2013. It's a little bit low on torque. It develops 105 horsepower, and 0 to 60 in this car is about 11 seconds. Fuel consumption's about 41 miles per gallon according to WLTP figures. If you drive the car a bit more carefully than that, you might get 45 on the motorway. Round town, maybe 35. The thing about this car though is really this lack of torque. It doesn't really like going up hills very much particularly. You've got to make sure you're not caught in too high a gear, and around Dudley there are actually some hills that I've been caught up a little bit today already. which is a shame, but you're just going to wait about 6 months for the automatic version to come in. We're not sure exactly what engine that will have. It might have the 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo, which the pre-facelift automatic models had. It might even have the new 1.3 turbocharged engine that was launched up for the Chinese market. Indeed, this car is actually built in China. No MGs are now partially assembled in the UK, which is a little bit of a shame, but the build quality of this is very, very high. Certainly for a car of this price point. Let's just say we're talking about the exclusive model, and if you buy it in white, that costs £17,800, and there's really not much competition for a car like this with all the extras that are on it. We've got a 10-inch touchscreen here, lane keeping assist, rear cross traffic alert, cruise control, digital instruments, electric seats, 4 USB ports, leather interior, or leatherette, I'm not actually sure which it is, but we'll just call it leatherette to be on the safe side. We've got air conditioning, of course, 3-mode steering. I'm currently in the most firm of the steering modes here, which is called dynamic. I always, when I drive a ZS, a petrol one, I always put it in dynamic mode because I don't like overlight steering. Now, you can put it in the urban mode, in the normal mode, and that's fine. But really, if you're a bit of an MG enthusiast, you want to drive this car with the dynamic steering. It's particularly improve the ride and handling any more than the normal mode would be, but that's absolutely fine. This car is not an out-and-out sports car. Certainly with a 0 to 60 time of 11 seconds and a top speed of I think 105 miles an hour, you're not going to be winning any drag races in this car. It'd be nice for MG to put the 1.5 turbo engine and 6-speed manual gearbox from the HS into this car, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll just have to see what demand is like. Certainly it's very comfortable to drive, it's very easy to drive. With things like the 360-degree camera we've got on this car, it's really easy to see everything. The only thing I'm noticing when I come to a stop, when the camera goes on, is just how old-fashioned this engine seems. If you're driving around town and you just cruise on the motorway, this is probably going to be okay. It's not as slow as something like, I don't know, a 1 litre Toyota Aygo or something like that. It's not that slow, but it's really not as dynamic as the interior and exterior appearance of this car would now have you believe. And I'm not sure why MG have launched this particular model first rather than the automatic. I think it's just to get the sort of the price point right. And indeed, you can get the Excite model with a £500 discount at the moment and a competitive finance rate on a PCP deal of around £230, £250 a month. I'm also very fond of these full LED headlamps that I can see when I'm stopped to traffic lights, and of course I've got stop start and everything like that. They've even got hill descent control in this car. It's really, really well equipped. Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, and for fans of Android devices, it's now got Android Auto as standard as well, which for me is fantastic. I'm really, really happy about that. Before that facelift came in, only the MG ZSCV had Android Auto, and it wasn't as a big screen like this. Seats are very comfortable. I've got electric adjustment in this particular car, so it's very easy to find the ideal driving position. Steering wheel feels nice to hold. Only thing I would say is that the steering wheel only adjusts, as in all ZS models since 2017, it only adjusts for rake, it doesn't adjust for reach, so you might find that driving position is a little bit unusual perhaps for some of you, but I found it really comfortable in all the ZS's I've driven, and this is actually no exception. It's pretty quiet when you don't have to rev the engine too hard, and the ride is really, really compliant. It's very soft. It doesn't mean that you get the most sporty handling, but this car's really not designed for sporty handling. If you wanted that, then you'd either stick with an MG3 with its hydraulic power steering, or you could go and buy yourself one of those TFs that are on the second-hand market. Those are, you know, the sports cars these days. MG has to focus upon volume, and it's very successful at it. MG in June 2020, one of the few manufacturers to have an increase in their sales volume over June 2019, and that's pretty impressive, really, given the fact that this car wasn't even launched at the time. I think this one was registered 30th of June. So we are now in a de-restricted zone here. Put my foot down, 4th gear. It's okay. It's just not in any way kind of brisk or any way sort of on the door handles exciting, really, but that's okay, you know. Sanyong Tivoli, Skoda Kamiq, cars like that, which tend to cost a bit more than this, and indeed the Tivoli in its pre-facelift guy still had an engine like this. They tend to be more expensive, and you know, the Skoda doesn't have anywhere near the warranty package that this does, and neither of them quite have this level of space that this car has. One of the things that this car has over the pre-facelift model is much larger tyres. They're not low profile anymore, which to many eyes made the car look a little bit underwheeled. The wheels look too small, and the ride was, you know, still really comfortable in a pre-facelift car, but this makes it even more comfortable. Just don't expect it to handle anything like an MG X-Power ST.
Here we are with anchors tying us to what we'll call home, even if the sight of it has not yet touched our eyes. And here we are and we're together, even if we are apart. And we're together when we're together, something big is happening.
So the engine and gearbox in this car might be exactly the same, but a lot of the, should we say, more modern features they've now put in the car do make for quite a different experience. Anyway, let's see if the Practicality is the same as the pre-facelift car and have a look in the boot. If you come round to the back of the car, one of the things you can see is that they've got these funny fake exhaust tips at the bottom which weren't there before. I really don't like it when manufacturers put fake exhaust tips, particularly on normal cars like this, but anyway, we use the trademark MG Octagon badge to lift up the boot. There's no electric boot option on this particular car, but it doesn't really need one. It's nice and light, and there's a handle there. And we've got the same as a pre-facelift car, 448 litres of space. We can raise this floor, take this stuff with us as well. Just put that there. Now that means it's easy to fold the seats. They do fold down 60-40. And it's reasonably flat once you've got the boot floor in this higher position. So if you look in the boot and pull up this floor, you can see we haven't got a spare wheel, we've only got a tyre repair kit. That's par for the course of modern cars, really, although it's annoying. There aren't really too many clever features in the boot though. There's no 12-volt socket in here. There are no hooks for tying anything down, which is a bit of a shame, but there are these quite deep little wells at the side, as you can see from my coat hanger for my jacket. It's placed there, and they do give you a very sensible warning triangle to put there as well. Let's now take a seat in the back and see if there are USB ports and a rear armrest. Getting into the back is just as easy as it was before, and your luxury experience is now enhanced by having chrome strips on the door handles like on the ZS EV. The windows are still a little bit small in the back of the ZS, although they do go all the way down, which is very good for families. The doors are still hard touch plastic on the top, but we do have these nice chrome effect door pulls, this kind of slightly weird material with red stitching. It does look quite nice though, actually. And of course electric windows in the back. The materials here, I don't know whether this is faux leather or if it's real leather. I'm just going to call it faux leather because that's being on the safe side. It does feel very comfortable. There's absolutely loads of room in here, just like there was before. I'm 5'11" and this is my driving position. Got absolutely loads of knee room, masses and masses of headroom, and of course you've got 3 headrests in the back too. The one thing that is lacking in here is the rear armrest still isn't present, which is a bit of a shame really. But now there are 2 USB ports, which I think is pretty good. Getting into the front is still just as easy as it ever was. These seats with their red stitching and the MG logo embossed on them are really nice actually. They remind me of a much more luxurious version of our old pre-facelift MG3. If I put the key in here, you'll see that the driver's display and the central touchscreen do come on. This is a 10.1 inch touchscreen. Before that was a, I believe an 8-inch screen. Just turn the wipers off there and mute the stereo because we don't want any copyright infringement on this channel. But you can see how enormous and easy to use this is. We've got my phone playing in there with Bluetooth. You've got Apple CarPlay and now Android Auto, although I won't connect that today. You don't need to see that really. The ventilation and heating controls are completely different. So we've got these sort of piano key type things across here. So if I want to adjust the temperature, so I want to tip it down a bit, just press that and it moves. I can also have a confirmation just like that, and if I press it there, you can direct the airflow however you'd like to do that. I would still prefer to have separate controls with little knobs on them. I just find that personally easier, but this seems to be the fashion and the way things are going. Want to go back, we can just press that home button there, and we can go navigation. This might be a bit slow to load up, but this is MG's iGo system. It's perfectly fine, but I think most people would probably use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So one of the things that you can do in this car, as I've mentioned in the driving section, we have variable steering weight. So if you go to car and driving and maintenance, I've got urban, normal and dynamic steering modes. Also with driving assistance, there are huge numbers of them: rear cross traffic alert, lane keeping assistance, changing alert, blind spot detection we've got in this car as well, rear driving assist, that's I think it's a reversing assistant type thing, not exactly sure actually. Then we've got all the convenience settings, follow me home lights in this car, and find my car, which I presume is holding down the button. You can find it in a cramped car park. If I go back to here, we've also got the Bluetooth for phone calls, and we've got a 360-degree view camera on this car. As you can see, it's not the highest definition thing in the world, but on a car that costs just over £18,000, to have a 360-degree camera is really, really amazing. One of the things that's changed from the pre-facelift model is the exclusive, like this, now has electric seat adjustment. It's quite easy to find the right driving position. I've got it down all the way because this is the way that I normally drive, and you can see just how much headroom I've got. It would be nice to have a panoramic sunroof in this car like on the ZS EV, but that would put the price up to the wrong side of £20,000, which would be a shame. We've also got hill descent control in this car, and you can turn on and off the 360-degree camera just by pressing that button there. You don't even need to use the menu actually. We've also got a conventional handbrake, thank goodness. I do like normal handbrakes. And now 2 USB ports in the front as well. That's a total of 4 in this car, and a 12-volt socket, which is brilliant. We've got an armrest in the middle, it never was there before, although it's pretty tiny, the storage container in there, and not sure what you'd exactly fit into that, but you know, never mind, it's good to have it. The visibility in the car is pretty good. The rear C-pillars are enormous actually, and so having the reversing camera is pretty much a must, but that does come standard on all models now, which is fantastic. We've also got rear parking sensors, though strangely not at the front. I think that would be a dealer option if you wanted them. So let's now test the secret mission documents. On a pre-facelift car, they don't fit. Let's see if they go in this post-facelift car. No. No, they don't. Oh well. Never mind.
Yeah.
So it didn't go into the glove box, which isn't really a surprise, but let's see if it goes in the door pocket. Yes. No problem. Unlike the previous car, this has now got an entirely digital cockpit. I think this is exclusive at the moment to the top of the range models like this. So we've got a digital speedo, digital rev counter, digital fuel gauge, and a digital temperature gauge. We can also scroll through to look at the status of the door locks, the lights, whether the doors are open, and we can look at the current journey information. This car's already done 24 miles from new, and it's already getting about 38 miles per gallon, which isn't too bad actually. We can look through as well to see how far it's gone in total, and the tyre pressure monitoring as well as the battery charging status. These stalks are the same as they were previously, and they're the same as on an MG3 and everything like that. Lovely steering wheel with this red stitching, again reminds me of the pre-facelift MG3. Red stitching around here as well, and on the seats. This soft touch material, which was on the doors in the rear, is also on the fascia now, and it looks rather nice. I think it's supposed to be a sort of carbon fibre type look. I don't know why, but it does feel and look quite nice. Top of the dashboard is still nice and soft, which gives it a feeling of a little bit more luxury. And just on the doors here, same as on the rears, we've got a bit of a fabric here, but still a bit hard over the top. The vents are still just as easy to operate as they were before. They look a little sort of, I don't know, Audi-ish, but we couldn't possibly comment on that. We might get sued. And the steering wheel buttons, they look a little bit like a certain other German manufacturer, but we won't again say anything, shall we? The only thing I don't like about the layout of these controls, aside from the piano keys here, is they haven't moved the fuel release from being next to the bonnet release. So you go along and you know, you want to open the bonnet and you pull that button and you realise the fuel flaps come undone. Oh dear. Right then, what do I think of this newly facelifted 2020 MG ZS? I think the levels of equipment are now astounding really, and the after sales package, this car comes with a standard 7-year warranty, means that it's going to be absolutely ideal for lots and lots of drivers. However, with this engine and gearbox combination, I would recommend a lot of you who maybe drive a bit more enthusiastically wait a little bit longer for the new automatic version next year. Oh dear me, I'm terribly sorry. Now pay attention, 007. My name is Joseph Lloyd. I'm an independent vehicle consultant. I find cars for people. Please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to do that. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. If you wish me to source a car for you, I'd love to do that. My website is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. Please use the contact me page on my website to get in touch. I've got a Facebook page as well. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Thank you.
Rolling.
I'll check myself.
Are you take?
Try again. Right.
Okay.